It was 1988. Slayer had just released South of Heaven, which was their second album with Rick Rubin, which is probably what I would consider their musical peak. They were playing at the Hollywood Palladium, and it was the first time I was going to see Slayer ever, and I took LSD. So by the time I get to the Palladium, which I walk to, I'm probably peaking. They had a long line to the side of the Palladium, which is where the parking lot, which is the west side of the Palladium, there's a parking lot, and they were searching people before they went in. So I had a can opener on my keys, and they took that, and they had like a giant trash can full of, everyone's shit. They weren't going to let them have chains or whatever when they got in. So when I got inside, we went to the, I was with actually two friends, but we kind of went our own separate ways. And I was sitting in the lobby, which would have been the front of the building, which is not where we came in. And I'm sitting against the wall, and a guy comes up to me, and he sits down, and he says, "Hey man, I really want a t-shirt, but I don't have any money." And so I'm peaking about at this point in my LSD experience, and I'm having a hard time just like talking to strangers. So I just go, "Oh, okay." And he goes, "Listen, do you want a t-shirt?" I'm like, "Yeah, okay," which was, my answer to everything. And he goes, "Okay, great. This is what we're going to do. When I say go, we're going to jump up and we're going to run to the t-shirt booth. We're going to jump over the table and rip the t-shirts that they have hanging behind the table down, and then we'll run off and we'll have our t-shirts." And I'm like, "Okay, great." And he says, "Are you ready?" And I'm like, I am, yeah, I'm ready. And he goes, "Okay, go." And he jumps up and he runs and he jumps in like some kind of leopard over top of the table, grabs a t-shirt, and then runs down over to the left. And then I just see his hair, long black hair, as he just whoosh, disappears in the audience. People are screaming. The people in the booth are screaming. And I just sat there. I was like, wow, that was awesome. When Slayer started playing, I was kind of in the back of the room, and there was like a step up, so you could kind of see the audience from slightly above. I mean, I'm kind of short, but I could still see slightly above. There was 5 mosh pits. There was 2 on each side of the building, and then the center was a giant mosh pit with people just going insane, running in complete circles. I remember the PA system was really, really distorted. I knew a decent amount of their catalog, especially the Rick Rubin stuff. But playing a song, they were playing a song, and the PA was just so distorted because it was just way too overblown and too loud for the gear that was there. And I remember I turned to this guy who I wasn't with, I didn't know, and I go, "What the fuck song are they playing?" And he plays air guitar and he goes, "Hell awaits!" I thought it was the funniest thing ever, especially in retrospect, and especially that I could even hear him because it was so loud that he could hear me. So they play that, and then eventually they play Rain in Blood. So when they play Rain in Blood, I run into the center, into the largest pit in the group of people. And I jump into the pit, and I'm running around, and I realize when I'm in the pit, this is probably one of the most violent pits I had ever been in. Because normally in pits you fall down, people will help you up, and people will let you out, and there's a lot of like camaraderie and stuff. And I saw people fall down, and people just trampled them. People will kick them, and I was like, wow. So I'm like going in circles and circles, just slamming, and everyone's just slamming each other. And someone hits me really hard, and I lose my balance, and I almost go down, and I panic a little bit because I'm I'm on LSD. And as I panic and I'm like, okay, I need to get out of here. So I go and I see, like, I think there's an opening, and I go to jump out of the pit, and there's a guy standing there, and he goes, boom, and he pushes me right back into the pit, and I go backwards, and I almost fall again, and people are just blasting me. And I don't know if I went around another time or only one time, but when I came back around, I was in complete animal instinct. I was completely not even thinking. All I was thinking was, get out now. This person did not let you out. So I come all the way around, and I see him again, and I reach out and I face mask him. I grab his face like this. I take my other hand behind his head and I pull him into the pit. And I don't know where he went, and I couldn't have cared less, because I created an opening and shot out of the pit. And I was like, oh my God, thank God I'm out of there. So the show ends, and I can't find the people that I came with. I look around a little bit, but we had walked, and we lived within walking distance. It was going to be easy enough, or at least so I thought. It was going to be easy enough just to walk home. So I walk out past the t-shirt into the lobby, the t-shirt booths, and I noticed the doors. So the doors were framed, and they were framed glass. And I noticed that the glass is all broken. And I step out. I don't open the door. The door is not open. And I step through the door where the glass used to be, stepping over the frame and then out. And when I get out onto the street, it's like a blinding light. There must have been, I don't know, 3 helicopters with floodlights all down on the building, and what seemed like between 10 and 20 cop cars all out on the street, and 1 million cops. I mean, 1 million cops. And I'm like, oh shit. I had no idea the riot was outside. I was inside the show. I got in. I thought inside was a riot enough, but outside there was a whole other thing going on. And I'm like, oh, what the fuck am I gonna do? So I say to myself, because the cops are like beating people and shit, you know? It's just like they're in like riot gear, and I'm like, I don't want to be in a cop riot. So I say to myself, you're invisible. You are invisible. And I keep saying it over and over and over again. And I walk right through the wall of cops. I keep walking. They're on all sides of me. People are running. Cops are hitting people with batons. And I'm like, you're invisible. You are invisible. And I crossed the street. I walked all the way. I kept saying, the helicopters were even coming down further into the streets as people were scattering out. I walk all the way down to Fountain saying, you're invisible. You're invisible. Not a cop touched me. Not a cop looked at me. I was totally fucking invisible. So you are rarely in life aware of the historical moments if you're a part of them. I mean, you don't know. It's not until later that people talk about the Slayer riot at the Palladium. You're like, oh shit, I was there. Slayer was banned from playing in Los Angeles for 10 years. A rock and roll band banned from playing in Los Angeles for 10 years. That's amazing. Thanks for listening.